A budget of the state, province and municipality consists of the funds contributed by all citizens through taxes, fees and excise. The budget provides for welfare, healthcare and education services. It supports employability and contributes to the growth of science and culture, business startups and infrastructure development. Budget is a key tool for reallocation of resources in ways that better contribute to problem solving and drive societies forward. Why is there never enough money in the budget? Our experience teaches us that budgets fail to provide for all of our diverse needs, coming from various groups in society. Some groups are more vocal and more influential. Others are invisible. Over time, this leads to the creation of pockets of poverty and exclusion. Budgets tend to mitigate the consequences rather than to address the root causes of issues. But inequalities come at a high social and economic price. If we fail to prevent or address inequalities in a timely manner, they tend to grow into social issues which are more and more difficult to resolve as time goes by. Throughout Europe, as well as in Serbia, the population is on the decrease. The share of elderly men and women is growing, migrations are on the rise, and pronatality policies seek to limit women's right to choose as they exert pressure on women to give birth. They are forgetting that parenthood is a shared responsibility of women and men, and the state plays a key part in ensuring an improved quality of life for both parents and children. Do women and men have an equal access to resources? Do they have equal benefits from resource use? And do they participate equally in decision-making? Before reallocating money from the budget, we ought to ask ourselves, what are the key issues that we want to solve, and how do they impact quality of daily life for women and men in both the urban and the rural areas? Gender-responsive budgeting enables us to consider the effects of budget reallocation on the lives of women, men, girls and boys, and it helps us to identify those pockets of inequalities with regards to gender, age, health status, and location. If we want to experience population growth, let us invest in safe reproductive health practices, support to childbearing, freedom of choice with regards to the number of children that people will have, provide a life free of violence in partnership relationships, fund kindergartens and preschools in rural and urban areas for all children, make schools safe and without peer violence as centers for learning and skills development that contribute to innovation and entrepreneurship, make secondary education mandatory and available, budget for reproductive healthcare programs in schools so that boys and girls would have access to safe and efficient family planning methods of their own free choice, fund quality and available healthcare, advance primary prevention, gynecology and urology examination, raise awareness of men and women on healthy lifestyles and availability of modern means of health protection and contraception, facilitate transition from grey economy into formal economy and create an enabling environment for entrepreneurship development, business startup and growth, ensure access to justice, protection from discrimination, and free legal aid for the most vulnerable groups and individuals. When deciding to finance development of parks and squares, planning roads, transport or lighting, take into account the different needs of women and men, girls and boys, elderly and women and men with disabilities, so that we can all use the available infrastructure. Ensure availability of communal services in urban and rural areas alike. Open doors to men and women coming from different communities and help them start a new life in ours. The Republic of Serbia introduces gender-responsive budgeting since 2016. It is based in the budget system law, and it serves as an example of good European practice in public finance reform. This process is supported by UN Women, United Nations entity for gender equality and the empowerment of women in Serbia.